Welcome in. Seahawks Today live, set to start in just a few minutes from right now. Today's show is sponsored by Mint Mobile. Plan starting at just $15 a month. Start saving now with America's largest 5G network with unlimited talk, text, and data for plans starting at just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/chatsports. That's mintmobile.com/chatsports. We have a big show ahead today, as coming up we will go over the Seahawks depth chart that was released, the unofficial depth chart, so we've been told. We also have a live Q&A mailbag to get to, and we'll preview the Seahawks and Broncos matchup coming up on Monday night as the Seahawks officially get their season underway. So glad to have you with us. In case you are just filing in and getting your friends in, this is what we call the buildup portion of the show. The show itself has not officially started just yet. When we get to 50 likes, that's when we will begin the show. So go ahead and hit that like button and get to Producer Chug. See, that's why we got to have the buildup portion, because Chug's just told me I had to move my mic a little bit. I had to adjust accordingly. So before we can really start the show. So with that, shout out your city. Where are you watching from as Jeremy Chuggs joins me right now? Jeremy, how are we feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah?
Feeling good. Feeling light. Look
Week at
one.
That. I just threw it to the other box.
That week one feeling. That week one. Ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. There we go.
I love it.
Let's see. Where my 12s at?
Where are you guys
Where my
at?
12s at? User 3056. He's coming from California, love.
California knows how to party. California knows how to party.
Isaac coming in from Seattle. Mad Wolf from Seattle. Chris Ross, Los Alamos, New Mexico. Young Bricks from Gregory,
South Dakota.
Okay, I was stumped there for
Johnny
a second.
Cash is in the chat today.
From Bickleton, Washington.
Okay.
Nick Fury coming in. Loyal watcher of the program from North Carolina. Samuel Elemu from Auburn, War Eagle.
I think that's Auburn, Washington.
Oh, never mind what I just said. The first thing I think of whenever I see Auburn is War Eagle.
That's fair, right. That's fair.
Spokane, Washington. I know Spokane's in Washington.
I've been to Spokane.
Travis, that's where Travis is from. Omarose is from
home of Gonzaga.
Omarose is from Nome, Arkansas?
Or Alaska.
AK's
Alaska.
AK's Alaska?
I haven't been to Alaska. I'd love to do
Corey
one of those
Deal,
Alaskan cruises.
Arlington? Are we talking about the Arlington near Chicago or the Arlington near Dallas? Recently learned there's two of those too. I don't know. Geography's not my strong suit.
See, I'm a geography guy. You know,
Oh,
I was a big social studies, history, geography, and all that. So, Forest Grove, Oregon. Chris says, "Go Hawks! Go Hawks, indeed!"
Go Hawks! Rock out with your hawk out.
Mike's Vision checking in from Kingston, Washington. Michael checking in from Eatonville, Washington. We are broadcasting to you from Dallas, Texas, the downtown Dallas studios of Chat Sports, and we're actually expanding right now. We are fortunate, I think, Jeremy, that today's show we will not be interrupted by construction. Other shows at Chat Sports today, not as lucky.
They have been. We're breaking down walls. We're
breaking down barriers.
We're breaking down barriers. We're breaking down walls. Sygen says, "What's up, Jeremy? What's up, Sygen? Tyler and the 12s. What's up?" Yeah, we're we're like ESPN out of Bristol, Chat Sports out of Dallas, and we're expanding our studios. There was a wall right here on the other side of this door right here. Broke it down. We have 4 more studios incoming.
Yeah, on the way. It doesn't change anything for you guys at home, but it does mean that Chat Sports as a whole will be offering more shows and more content.
We'll be able to make more Seahawks content because we won't have to wait.
Exactly. VJM checking in from Vancouver, Canada. Beloved Crenshaw from Atlantic City, New Jersey. Doing some gambling today, beloved Crenshaw. Also got Taurus checking in from Kent, Washington. Levance Williams from Louisiana, standing up 12.
VJM from Canada.
Our home and native land.
All right. Hey, it went so well last week, Tyler. I think we had to do it again this week. The contest.
The contest last week, we asked you to name how many all-time Seahawks wide receivers. How many you could name, period, from guys that are current on the roster to guys that played 30, 40-plus years ago. So today we'll do it a little bit different. Same question, but let's go with the running back position this time.
Also, Rush Dillard, sweet profile picture.
Yes. Blaze up. How many all-time Seahawks running backs can you name? Get every name you can in the chat right now, and let's see who can get the most.
The biggest one for me, and I know a lot of people immediately go to Marshawn Lynch.
Right.
For me, I think it's Sean Alexander. And
MVP.
I specifically remember Sean Alexander on – it was some commercial, and he was talking about his pregame meal, and he said that he ate spaghetti and meatballs before every single game, and I thought that was just the coolest thing ever.
I remember, was it Madden 07 he was the cover of? I believe so.
I think so, yeah. Either Madden 07 or Madden 06.
Yeah, I believe 06 was McNabb.
Yes.
And then he was 07. All right, so let's get the chat going. I think my internet might be clogged up or something here. How many running backs can you name?
Isaac says Sean
time?
Alexander.
Isaac says Sean. All right, there's got to be more than Sean. Let's see. Nick says Sean, Marshawn Lynch, Chris Carson. Okay. Let's see. Taurus says Sean Alexander, Rashad Penny, Chris Carson, Marshawn Lynch, Thomas Rawls, also JD in there. Okay. So Taurus is leading so far with the most names. Dr. Chicken with the Carlos Hyde one in there.
Beloved Crenshaw. Okay, I'm glad I'm not crazy and I wasn't just making that commercial up in my head. Ricky Waters, another great name. Jacob Scott. Yeah, I remember Sean Alexander, and he had a full padded, eating a big, huge bowl of spaghetti and meatballs.
Let's see, Dr. Penny, Dr. Chicken getting Rashad Penny.
Dr. Penny.
Dr. Penny. Chris Carson, Marshawn Lynch, Carlos Hyde in there. Okay. Kenneth Walker III, yes.
Yeah, most recent.
Let's see.
Can anybody name somebody? I guess we have Ricky Waters. Mike Davis is in the chat as well. Can anybody name people pre-Sean Alexander? I was such a young kid during that time. Trying to think back before that.
Here we go.
I'm just
so VJM just threw some OGs in there. Maurice Morris, David Sims, Max Strong, John Williams, Ricky Waters, Chris Carson, Thomas Rawls, Chris Warren, Marshawn Lynch, Sean Alexander. Chris Ross says Carson, Alexander, Lynch, Waters, Dallas, Penny, Walker. Dr. Chicken getting Travis Homer in there. Travis Homer getting the shot.
Don't be a homer.
No, do not be. Who else we got? Let's see.
Chris Warren. Is that Robert Turbin.
Robert Turbin, yeah.
That's a good name.
I know that he didn't technically make the active roster, but we haven't named Darwin Thompson yet of the recent running backs.
I'm trying to think. Who was the running back that ran over, was it the Boz? Or no, the Boz played.
Well, Bo Jackson was playing for the Raiders and ran over the Boz and was playing for the Seahawks.
Okay, that's what it was.
Yes. Let's see. Warner, Robert, I'm seeing Derek in there. Who else you got? You guys got any more names? By the way, 31 likes right now. Got to get to 50 to officially start the show.
Dan Dornick.
Oh, Colby, of course. Adrian Peterson last year.
Yeah.
Playing for the Seahawks. Adrian Peterson, he is probably, granted, I was born in 1996. Adrian Peterson, probably the best running back of my lifetime. I wasn't old enough to see Barry Sanders. Adrian Peterson.
Eddie Lacy.
There we go. There's a new one.
Didn't the Seahawks have a fullback who was like he couldn't hear?
Let's see.
I know it's running back, but
Derek Coleman. That's who you're thinking of.
All right. I think so far we have Dr. Chicken in the lead. Also, VJM up there.
Oh, Colby says,
Taurus.
Let's not forget Alex Collins. Yes.
CJ Procise.
Okay.
Very nice. Obviously, it's game week.
All right.
Big time.
Time to predict the score. We also have a poll that you can get your votes in as well. Predict the score between the Broncos and the Seahawks. How will things go on Monday night between these two teams? I think this is going to be must-see TV. You don't have to be even a fan of one of these teams to enjoy what we're about to see on Monday night.
You can just be a fan of Joe Buck.
Yeah, Joe and Troy. I like Joe and Troy. But forget about Joe and Troy. You got to be with us on Monday night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do a live watch party, as we will throughout the season. So, score predictions coming in. Taurus says Seahawks 27-17. Chugs, I'll get my pick later on. What's your pick for the game?
It's going to be an emotional game. I think it's going to be close regardless. I don't think it's going to be a runaway either way. There's too many emotions. There's too much going on. It's week 1, you know?
Right.
With that being said, I'm going to go Ooh, this is tough.
And you're going to be honest. If you think Denver's going to win,
I'm going to go Broncos 27, Seattle 24.
Okay. 27-24. That'd be a really good game.
Yeah.
Let's see. Nick says Seattle 27-20. Samuel says Seahawks 28-24. Sagan says Seahawks 23-20. Let's see. What else we got here? I see 31-17 Seattle. Chris says Broncos 30-24. Okay.
And the one thing is, we didn't really get to see a lot of DK and Tyler in the preseason. Obviously, you don't want your starters to get hurt in the preseason, so it makes sense.
Right.
So, but I also feel like that's affected our view of these quarterbacks, both Locke and Geno, in that they didn't have the two best players on the team, the two biggest weapons on the team during the preseason.
So that Cowboys game, for example, the final preseason game, Geno Smith, Tyler Lockett, those guys were on the field together like one series, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And Tyler Lockett was catching everything. And Geno Smith looked like a different quarterback. So from what we've seen, it could be a whole different offense with those guys at the disposal of Geno Smith.
Completely different stratosphere of quarterback. But Tom Brady, his last year in New England, did not look like the Tom Brady I knew with those weapons.
Right. Let's see. Dr. Chicken says Jeremy Chuggs and Tyler Jones. I think beat Russell Wilson is to blitz him because when they played, I think the Giants blitzed Russ and they really couldn't score. I thought he was saying at first, Dr. Chicken, was that the key to beating Russell Wilson was for Jeremy Chuggs and Tyler Jones to blitz Russell Wilson.
I agree with that. More than blitz Russell Wilson, from my time watching him in the NFL, I think more than blitzing him, I think it's containing him. I think you can't let Russell Wilson get out of the pocket. You have to make him beat you as a pocket passer because when you look at his biggest plays with the Seahawks, I feel like they were all crazy scramble plays, going out left, going out right, and then he ended up finding an open receiver. I think if you keep him in the pocket and you don't let him kind of scramble and get outside,
right?
I think that could immensely help the Seahawks defense.
I think that very well could.
TJ?
Get more predictions coming in. There's the football. Wow, going from box to box. Amazing how that is. Nick says Seattle 27-20. We are 8 likes away from officially starting the show.
Hey.
So hit that like button. Once we get to 50, then we will get going with today's show. Got some more questions for you as well.
Speaking of Russ,
what will your reaction be when Russell Wilson returns on Monday night? You going to be booing or are you going to be cheering him when he comes out? Type B for boo. Type C for cheer. Let us know in the comments. B for boo, C for cheer.
Boo.
And we heard Tyler Lockett. He said this week that Seahawk fans should appreciate Russ, that they should cheer for him before the game begins. But that's one man's opinion. He's not a fan.
I'm sorry. Between the lines, nothing against him, right? Cheer for sure.
I'm seeing a lot of cheers in the chat.
How I would do, cheer pregame, boo during the game. Once the whistle blows, once that kickoff is off and in the air, it is game time. You're the enemy.
Right.
I'm booing you. I'm sorry. Before the game, cheer, nothing but respect. During the game, I'm hitting the boo bird.
One of the things, and I'm going to bring this up later, is that when the game gets started, you have to put emotions aside, right? you can honor Russ pregame, but once the game starts, he's not your friend. He's your enemy. One more like away, and we'll start the show.
Funny thing, I've been watching Hard Knocks, and the Lions OC, Deuce Staley.
Yes.
He had a great quote where
he's
he said,
an OG, former Eagle and Steeler.
Oh, yeah. Great coach. He had a great quote in that, I love you outside those lines. Outside those lines, we can be best friends. But if my grandma's steps inside those lines, I'm going to whoop her ass.
I love it. We're at 50 likes. Jeremy, let's get started with the show, shall we?
Oh, all right. Hey, let's remind the folks at home what's coming up on the program today.
On today's show, we'll cover the latest Seattle Seahawks news and rumors as the Seahawks depth chart has been released, the unofficial depth chart. But nonetheless, we'll go over that. Also, we'll have a live Q&A mailbag where we will answer whatever questions you guys have using the hashtag Seahawks, or if you want to super chat us, skip the line and you'll get your questions first on air. Also offering a deal today. You see this beer on Chan here? If we get a super chat, $25 super chat, then we'll get the boot out today. And I'm offering $5. I'll take a shot of some Fireball. But got to get through, of course, the items of the day as well. So live Q&A, and then we'll preview the Seahawks and Broncos game at the end of the show. All that and more. Hit the like button. We'll get started with today's live edition of Seahawks Today, and it is powered by Chat Sports. Welcome in to Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us. Today's show is sponsored by Mint Mobile. Plans starting at just $15 a month on America's largest 5G network. You can sign up now at mintmobile.com/chatsports. On today's show, we'll break down the Seahawks depth chart that's been released ahead of Monday's matchup with the Denver Broncos. Also, there's a few rookies that will start for the Seahawks on Monday. And then the question, when will we see Drew Lock? Will it be anytime soon? You already know that Geno Smith is the starter for Week 1, but ESPN put their projections out of when we will see Drew Lock at some point this year. We'll talk about that coming up later on in the show. But first, a reminder, we'll be doing a live watch party on Monday night for the Seahawks and Broncos season opener on Monday Night Football. We'll get things started about 15 minutes before kickoff at 7:45 Eastern, 4:45 Pacific. For our live watch party, we'll do a little pregame show, react to the game in real time, and have postgame reaction as well right here on the channel. Seahawks versus Broncos live. Subscribe now so you can be a part of our watch party and all the latest happenings with your favorite team. Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Subscribe now, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. We begin today looking at the Seahawks depth chart, the unofficial depth chart that is, that's been released ahead of Monday's game versus the Denver Broncos. And for the most part, it seemed par for the course, what we expected, but there were a couple things that stood out. Let's start out with the quarterback position. Geno Smith, your starter for Week 1. Pete Carroll made that decision after the final preseason game when Drew Lock struggled with 3 interceptions. His decision was pretty much made for him with Geno Smith being that number 1 guy. Jacob Eason, you can see listed as that quarterback 3. He's on the practice squad. And if something were to happen to Drew Lock or Geno Smith, you'd have to think that he'd get called up. The running back position, also the fullback spot as well. The backfield for Seattle, Rashad Penny is your RB1. Kenneth Walker sitting in at the number 2 running back spot with Nick Bellore starting at fullback. He'll also play some linebacker and special teams as well. Kenneth Walker III likely not going to play on Monday night, but no need to fear. Travis Homer and DJ Dallas looked really good in the preseason. They should be able to fill the void just fine with Walker out. Some depth there behind Penny and Walker. The wide receiver positions for the Seahawks. Metcalf and Lockett both coming off spectacular seasons in 2021. Both of them will certainly have their names called upon them a lot with a new quarterback in Geno Smith. The Eskridge and Marquise Goodwin also there along with Young and Hart. and a big drop-off. Once you get past Metcalf and Lockett, who's going to step up and be that next guy as your number 3 receiver? The tight end room, the Seahawks depth chart has said this for a while, and it continues, that the number 1 tight end is Noah Fant or Will Dissly. A good problem to have, quite frankly. Both of them very talented players, and if you can get them both on the field, that's a very good thing. Colby Parkinson, your number 3 tight end. So, with that, I like Noah Fant a little more than I do Will Dissly, but both of them very good players, and it's good to have multiple options. I don't think this is a bad thing that you have the or on the depth chart. As annoying as it may be, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm riding with Noah Fant. Who is your guy? If you had to choose between these 2 tight ends, if you had to make the decision and get rid of that or and decide who is the tight end number 1, then who would it be? Would it be Will Dissly? Would it be Noah Fant? If it's Will Dissly, type WD for Will Dissly. If it's NF, type NF for Noah Fant. This is our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. While the ad is playing, get your votes in. Type WD for Will Dissly. Type NF for Noah Fant. And a quick fix there. Eason not on the QB depth chart. Practice squad guy, but kind of the de facto number 3 quarterback for the Seahawks. So, moving on. Let's go ahead and look at the offensive line. And for Seattle, you can see there Charles Cross and Abraham Lucas starting at left and right tackle. Your bookend rookie right tackles there for the Seahawks, along with Lewis, Austin, Gabe Jackson, that group. We've seen that this was going to be more than likely the 5 going forward. The big question for Seattle was if Jake Curhan was going to start over Abraham Lucas. Lucas was getting first-team reps back in minicamp. Curhan had an opportunity to win the job, but ultimately they go with Abraham Lucas. He wins the job, and we'll see those 2. So, although this group, I think there's a lot of potential, there will be some growing pains you'd have to imagine for them heading into the year with starting rookies there. Let's move to the defense now. The defensive line led by Poona Ford, Al Woods, and the big, bad Shelby Harris on the defensive end spot as well. That, as you can see, those 3 guys leading the way in this new defensive scheme under defensive coordinator Clint Hurt on the defensive line. Very intrigued to see what they bring to the table, in particular Shelby Harris as well, one of the newer members of the Seattle Seahawks. Then we move to the linebacker group. And the linebackers, of course, led by Jordan Brooks. He now takes over for Bobby Wagner as the signal caller on the defense. And last year, Jordan Brooks was second in the entire National Football League in tackles. He's joined by Cody Barton. Cody Barton really struggled throughout the preseason. Can he step up a bit? That remains to be seen. And then at the outside linebacker spots, Uchenna and Nwosu, who the Seahawks brought over from the Chargers, who they really like, as well as Darrell Taylor. Those guys will be fascinating to see what they can put together. And behind them might even be just as interesting. Boye Mafe, who had a really good preseason as a rookie, you'd have to think is going to get some snaps and rotate in from time to time. Alton Robinson played really well, but coming off injury, we'll see what he can do to get on the field there. To the secondary we go, and here's some more surprises. Mike Jackson, a guy that was borderline on even making the 53-man roster, had his back against the wall, ultimately makes it. He'll start at left corner next to Tariq Woolen, the 5th-round rookie. Woolen beats out Artie Burns as well as fellow rookie Coby Bryant to get that starting nod. And they're joined, of course, by one of the best safety duos in the entire league, Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams. And then beyond there, the guys that are competing in the special teams, you can see Jason Myers, Michael Dixon leading the way. They've been around for a bit now. The punt returner is D. Eskridge, kick returner DJ Dallas, and then Tyler Ott as the long snapper. Kenneth Walker III listed as the backup kick returner, so we could see him potentially in one of those kick returner spots. So that is the complete depth chart of all 53 for your Seattle Seahawks. Now it's your turn to be the judge. You've seen the roster for the Seahawks. What is the weakest position for Seattle on this team in 2022? Let me know in the comments section. Tell me one position that's the weakest among those listed. You've seen the depth chart. Let me know in the comments section below. Today's show is sponsored by Mint Mobile with plans starting at just $15 a month. Includes unlimited talk and text as well as high-speed data and mobile hotspots. And Ryan Reynolds, he owns Mint Mobile, and he is offering a great deal for the folks out there. Look, we've run on some hard times, right? And we're all trying to save every penny we can. Well, why not go ahead and have high-speed data and unlimited talk and text and not pay a whole lot of money for it? America's largest 5G network. You can do so now with Mint Mobile with plans starting at just $15 a month. Your mom's going to even tell you to stop calling so much just because you can afford it. Maybe lay off mom a little bit. Call your other friends. MintMobile.com/chatsports to sign up now. Start saving today. So let's focus in on the rookies that are starting for Seattle. Charles Cross, the moment that he was selected at number 9 overall, he was going to start at left tackle. The hope is with Charles Cross that you have your starting left tackle for the next decade. That's what you would hope for. Charles Cross, although did not look good in that preseason game against the Bears with all the mistakes he made, we'll see if he grows up a bit, if that was just one bad game and things can move forward from there. Abraham Lucas. My guy Brian Baldinger was all over Abraham Lucas breaking down the film of what he was able to do, and he's already come a long way as a run blocker. He and Cross, similar concerns. We know that they're going to be good as pass blockers, but they have to learn to run block. And so far, what we've seen, Abraham Lucas is coming along nicely. And then there's Tariq Woolen. Had a bad night in the first preseason game against the Steelers, but was terrific in the next 2 preseason games, and now working his way to be an outside corner right away. Look, I like Tariq Woolen a lot. He's got great size. He's been working with Richard Sherman. He's been coaching him a bit as well. What's going to be interesting is for Woolen is not only the fact that he's got that job, but trying to keep it as well, because you'll get Trey Brown back off a pup at some point this year. And Coby Bryant, of course, is going to continue to get better and develop as well. Tariq Woolen, not only am I excited to see what he's able to do, but also how he competes moving forward. If he can hold on to that job with good options as well competing for that position there. So, of the youngsters, the young fellas, who will be the Seahawks' best rookie in 2022? Whether it was somebody we mentioned or somebody we didn't mention. Let us know in the comment section below who will be the best Seahawks rookie this season. Let's talk about Drew Lock now. Drew Lock, the Seahawks' backup quarterback, was acquired in the Russell Wilson trade, and there was a hope among a lot of people that he would be the Seahawks' starting quarterback. Ultimately lost the job, but ESPN, their fantasy department, is projecting that we will see Drew Lock this year, that he'll start by Week 12 against the Las Vegas Raiders. Here's what Mike Clay had to say on Drew Lock. After a Week 11 bye and with the support of the home crowd, Drew Lock is projected to replace Geno Smith under center for the Seahawks in Week 12. Don't expect a major change in offensive output. However, as Smith is averaging just 249 yards per game up to this point, and Lock projects for 244 against the Raiders. So, what do the numbers look like when we see Drew Lock, potentially speaking, as ESPN says is going to happen? According to the folks at ESPN, they have Drew Lock Week 12 against that Raiders team, which could be a playoff team, going for about 244 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a QBR of about 85.4. So, fascinating to see those numbers there. Look, I think we're going to see Drew Lock at some point this year, whether it be injury or whether Geno Smith struggles. At some point, we will see Drew Lock. I don't know when. I would lean towards that it's sooner than what ESPN projects. They say Week 12. I would lean towards something about Week 8 at the latest, personally. What say you? Let's go back to ESPN's projection. Will Drew Lock start before Week 12 of this season? Will we see him not just come in, but start a game before Week 12 like ESPN is projecting? If so, type Y for yes. If you don't think that's happening, if Geno Smith is still starting by then, type in for no. Let me know in the comment section below. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter at Tyler Jones Live, and we will see you next time here on Seahawks Today. All right, so let's go ahead and get some shout-outs in the comments section. I'm seeing, let's see, Matthew is checking in. Jamie is here. Ray is here as well. Levance. Ryan is here. Bear. Sijin is here. Ryan. The club. We're in the club today.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew as well. Joyce also checking in. You guys are real ones. We're glad to have you here. Producer Chugs is back with me now. And, Jeremy, what about you? Do you think we'll see Drew Lock before Week 12?
I mean, I think so. It just depends, I think both these quarterbacks, they're middle tier. They're not going to be the very worst quarterback in the league, but they're not going to go out and win you a game like Aaron Rodgers or like a premier quarterback,
Right.
So I could see it, if Geno struggles, you got to try something else, bring in Drew Lock. But, I mean, if you bring him in soon,
Yeah.
It's kind of like if you take Geno out in, like, Week 4 or Week 5 and you put in Drew Lock and Drew Lock is worse.
Right.
Can you go back to Geno? Or is that kind of just like, you've already kind of struck his confidence of, like, we don't think you're good enough to start.
So let's check in with the comments, what people are saying. I'm seeing more yeses than nos. Only seeing a couple no's.
Yeah.
Let's see who's chiming in here. I see Nathan, Ryan, Saigan, Joyce, Isaac, Dr. Chicken all saying yes. Our saying no.
Guys, also while we're chopping it up here, reminder: use hashtag Seahawks. We're about to do a mailbag here in about 5 minutes. Get your questions in. Me and Tyler are going to answer all your questions in this mailbag. If you want a super chat, every super chat Tyler's going to drink. He said $25 super chat, he's going to do a beer boot, which is very low. We usually do $100 for a beer boot.
This is a discount. I'm offering it. I feel
feisty.
Feisty. I was going to say generous, but both.
A little bit of both.
$25, and I will do a beer boot today.
But, yeah.
We also have the shot glasses in hand, $5, and I'll take some Fireball.
Ray's getting some questions in using hashtag Seahawks. I saw a couple other people getting their questions in. Get those questions in. Use hashtag Seahawks, and I'll get you up on screen.
Yeah, and so what Jeremy does is, as he's controlling the buttons here, folks, if you use that hashtag Seahawks, that makes it a lot easier for him to gather the questions to get on the screen. The only way you can be a part of the mailbag is using that hashtag Seahawks or super chatting us. And if you super chat, you'll jump right into the line.
Ray, I've seen your question a bunch, I think you should just take your date back to your place and watch Seahawks live.
Yes. That's
Honestly.
the right answer. Should I go on a date or watch the game Monday? I mean, the answer, your date should want to watch the game.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, I've always hated the idea of taking girls out to a movie.
Yeah.
Because you can't talk, you can't chit-chat, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you take her to a sporting event, or if she comes over and watches the game, I mean, you all can have a good time watching the game.
You know she's a real one if she's down to watch the Seahawks game.
Right? All right. The next question we have for you. Today is National Beer Lovers Day.
Woo!
I love beer. In fact, I'll crack open one right now. I got a Coors Light in hand.
Oh,
what is your
nice.
favorite beer to drink on game day?
That was a great crack.
That was elite. That was good. What is your favorite beer to drink on game day? Let us know in the comments section. So for me, even though I'm drinking Coors Light right now, it was free. That's the best type of beer. That's the real answer. I enjoyed, as somebody that lived in Kansas City for a while, Boulevard Brewing Company, Boulevard Wheat. Give me a nice cold Boulevard Wheat. Get a lemon on it. That's my go-to. If I'm keeping it simple to the standard American domestics, I'm a Michelob guy every time. Problem with Michelob, though, Chugs, is that seal breaks pretty fast. Like, you got to go to the bathroom by probably the end of the first quarter if you're drinking Michelob.
Yeah. I would say I love a good Dos Equis with lime and salt on the rim.
Okay. You're a salt guy. I'm a tahini guy, personally.
Yeah, I mean, I like tahini, but I like it more with either like a margarita, like a mango margarita,
or ranch
with
water,
tahini, or ranch water. Yeah.
Yeah.
With beer, I'm more of a salt on the rim guy.
So here's what people are saying. Sachin says Bud Light. I'm seeing no beer. Okay. Levant says Bud Light. Alan says Bud Light and Dos Equis. Space Dust. I don't know what that is. Green tea? Let's see. Got another Bud Light in the chat. Bud Light seems to be the sure sign of a good time.
I like a Bud Light Premium.
I don't think I've had a Bud Light Premium.
It's the same, it's just higher alcohol content.
Okay. I could be down for that.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. I mean, you have to have a cold beverage. You know, I understand if you don't drink whatever, but at least, you know, a pop or something on hand here, you know.
Don't call it that.
You're from Texas. You guys call it Coke or whatever.
Yeah, it's not pop. It's not sody pop.
Chris says Blue Moon.
Oh, I like a Blue Moon with
Blue
orange.
Moon with an orange?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Bud, the king of beers.
Oh, no, he said Bud and beer.
Bud and beer, okay.
I like the way you think, Matthew.
Colby says straight Don Julio.
He said.
Don Julio. Ooh-wee, says Levance. Okay. Mike's Freeze? What's Mike's Freeze?
All I know is Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Right, that's what I know of.
Yeah.
Mike's Hard.
Mike's Freeze.
Sorry, guys. Okay, that's not a beer answer.
Wayne, use hashtag Seahawks in your comment, and we'll answer your question, or we'll get it up on the screen.
All right, Claire Bear says 1942. Okay. OTX says not 21, I'm 20. Well, you will enjoy drinking when you turn 21. Hulk says water. Joyce says, I drink Red Bull. Red Bull, isn't that kind of bad for your heart?
Gives you wings.
Whee!
Straight to heaven.
Yes.
I can't even lie. I like a good Red Bull vodka.
Oh, yeah. The Red Bull vodka, it kind of defeats the point of the Red Bull. You kill the vodka makes you tired.
It evens it out.
Yeah. Let's see. Ginger beer. I like good ginger beer.
Oh, yeah. Marshawn Lynch did like to crack open some Hennessy before the games. Elite.
Mad Dog 2020. Mad Dog 2020 vision. We're drinking
right.
W's this
All
year. Okay. Mailbag coming up in just a moment. Use hashtag Seahawks to get your question on the show. You can also super chat to skip the line, and you'll be first up when it comes to these questions. So use that hashtag Seahawks if you want to be on the show. Will Scott would be happy. I see a Yingling in the chat. So, yes, if you have questions, use that hashtag Seahawks or super chat, and we'll get to you for our live mailbag coming up in just a moment. All right, here we go. Seahawks Today coming up in just a few moments from right now. We do these live mailbags each and every week, a part of Seahawks Today Live, and this segment is from that show. Subscribe now and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of what's going on Seahawks Today, and you can join our live Q&A mailbags where you can get your questions in, and I'll answer them in real time here on Seahawks Today. Seahawks Today is sponsored by Mint Mobile. Plans starting at just $15 a month on America's largest 5G network. Unlimited talk, text, and everything in between. And did I tell you it's owned by Ryan Reynolds? Sign up now at mintmobile.com/chatsports. First question comes in from my guy Nick. Nick writes, Pete Carroll is one of the best coaches in the NFL, but expects a 10-win season from this team. As optimistic as I am for the Seahawks, this is a reach for me. 4-13 to a 6-11 season for me. So we talked about this earlier in the week on the channel, that Pete Carroll said that he expects this group to be a 10-win football team. And that's what they've averaged since his tenure there. And all of that is true, sure. And there's part of that coach speech, right, where you're supposed to have confidence in your team. Where, what are you supposed to say? That, you know what, well, I don't think we're going to win that many games. We're not going to be very good. No, you're not going to say those things. You need to preach confidence within your team. So, while I disagree with Pete Carroll, they're not going to be a 10-win football team. My record prediction was 6 wins. I don't think that Pete Carroll said it in a bad way. I don't think it's a negative thing for him to say what he said. If anything, he's just showing confidence in his team going forward. So, with that, 10 wins, yeah, it's a reach, but at least he's confident in his team. That was what I took away from that there. Next question comes from Rush with the hashtag Seahawks. Should I bet the under or the over? So, the win total, I assume that's what Rush is talking about here, is 5.5. But the over-under for the game this weekend is in the 40s, I believe. The number, there it is on our screen right now. Thank you, Producer Chugs. Over-under 45.5. 44.5, thank you. I would bet the over. I would put money on the over there for that 44.5 number for this game on Monday night. I think that you're going to see a lot of offense, a lot of points scored. You have a Seahawks team that, even though there's been quite a bit of changes, you still have some big-time weapons in DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Noah Fant's going to be there. I mean, you could put up points. On Denver's side of things, Russell Wilson finally getting to do what he's wanted to do, and that's throw the football a lot. We've seen when Russell Wilson is allowed to cook, when Russ can cook, they put up points. And so I think that this one, I would lean towards that 44.5 one, taking the over personally. Life's too short to bet the under. Put your money on the over as far as I'm concerned. Next question from Real 12 Stand Up. How important is Monday's game versus the Broncos? Well, some folks will tell you that this is the Seahawks Super Bowl this year. I'm not one of those. I'm not going to sit here and say that this is the Super Bowl for the Seahawks because every game matters, right? And this is a regular season game. I think it is important for bragging rights. It's important emotionally. You know, we don't know when Russell Wilson's going to be back in Seattle again. These two teams, they're not in the AFC West anymore. They're not playing in the same division like they were 20-some-odd years ago. And so with that, this is for bragging rights. It's going to be an emotional night and everything like that. I would say it's important, but this is not what some people would call it, comparing this to the Super Bowl or saying this is the Seahawks Super Bowl this year. It is important, but at the end of the day, this is still a regular season game. Yes, you would love to win this game, but it is not the end of the world if you lose it. It is still a regular season game. I don't care how bad this Seattle Seahawks team may be. I will never compare any regular season game to a Super Bowl. Not happen. So it is important, but it's not to that level, that magnitude, as far as I'm concerned. The reaction, that's going to be a whole nother story too. What's your reaction going to be when Russell Wilson walks out onto the field? You going to be booing him? You're going to be cheering him. What are you going to do? If you're going to boo Russell Wilson, type B for boo. If you're going to be cheering Russell Wilson on when he steps on the field on Monday night, type C for cheer. Let me know in the comments section. How will you applaud Russell Wilson when he steps onto the field? B for boo, C for cheer. Next question comes in. Hashtag Seahawks. Will Bo Melton ever get the call up to the 53? Bo Melton was really good throughout this offseason, but he got outplayed by his fellow seventh-round rookie, Tariq Young, in the preseason. Tariq Young ultimately gets one of the spots, and we see Bo Melton not make it. And so, as you can see there, Young is about the number 5 or 6 receiver, depending on who you ask. The Seahawks with 6 receivers in the active roster. And, you know, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer of sorts here, just being a realist. You're likely going to see an injury at some point this year. I don't know who, but of this 6, somebody's probably going to get hurt. And I would think when that happens, you're not going to go sign a receiver. You'll probably promote Bo Melton to the active roster at that point. That's what I think is the likely scenario. Yes, we will see Bo Melton on the 53-man. It will take an injury, I think, for that to happen, but it will happen at some point this year. We will see Bo Melton get his shot and be on the Seahawks 53-man roster. Jeff Duncan writes, #Seahawks, should I draft DK or Tyler Lockett in my fantasy league? Well, fantasy drafts, fantasy football, I love playing fantasy football. I was able to get DK Metcalf in one of my fantasy leagues, actually. And so, yes, I would. In fact, last year, and I wasn't even covering the Seahawks last year, I had a league with Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, and that team did really well. And so, I got to tell you, even with not having Russell Wilson there, this offense, when they move the ball through the air, it's going to be to those two. Those two are going to lead the way. They're still going to get their numbers. They're still going to have good years, even if it's Geno Smith or Drew Lock throwing in the football. So, yes, if you have the opportunity to get DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett in the right round, then, yes, I would go ahead and draft one of those two guys if you have the opportunity to do so. So, thanks for the question, Jeff. Today's show is sponsored by Mint Mobile. You may be asking, what is Mint Mobile offer? Well, they offer unlimited talk and text, high-speed data on America's largest 5G network, mobile hotspots, plans starting at just $15 a month. You can start saving today. You don't have to wait till tomorrow. You can start saving right now at mintmobile.com/chatsports. Plans starting at just $15 a month. Sign up now. Tell them that Tyler Jones sent you. You'll be glad you did. mintmobile.com/chatsports. Hulk Smash writes, do you think we will get Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud? Well, here's what I'm looking at for this upcoming draft, okay? And I know some people are going to disagree with me on this, but I'll say this anyway. I personally believe that Will Anderson, the defensive player out of Alabama, is far and away the best player in college football. He's that good, okay? And so I don't care who you are. If you have the opportunity to draft Will Anderson number 1 overall, you get Will Anderson, and then you figure out the quarterback situation after that. Kind of like when Jadeveon Clowney was coming out of South Carolina. That's what everyone assumed was, okay, Clowney comes off the board first, and then you pick everybody else after that. Same with Myles Garrett when he was coming out of Texas A&M, and the Cleveland Browns took him. I think in this case, Will Anderson is that type. So then you're talking 2, 3, 4, whatever it may be, Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud as your picks. I think that the Falcons are going to be the worst team in the league. I think the Bears are going to be after them. And then Seattle could be anywhere from 3 to 10 in the draft order. And so, yeah, there's a chance. And I think that you'd be happy with either one. I prefer C.J. Stroud over Bryce Young personally. But those two, I think, are far and away better than any of the other quarterbacks in this draft. So, yes, I do think there's a chance they land one of those two. And if you're the Seahawks, I think you put all your eggs in your basket. You trade up. You do whatever you can to get one of those two guys in next year's draft. Go find your franchise quarterback. Get a young quarterback that doesn't count too much against the cap and build. Start with those guys. Get a foundational quarterback for years to come. Next question from Levance. Levance writes, #Seahawks. Why do people think Seattle isn't going to be good with Geno when we are same team as Russell in the Super Bowl win? Percy scored more points than Russell offense. Let me put it this way. Last year, the Seahawks had Russell Wilson and went 7-10. This team doesn't have that franchise quarterback anymore and has arguably the worst starter in the league in Geno Smith now. And all of a sudden, you think that this team's a playoff team? Not so fast. And it's not just losing Russell Wilson. You don't have Bobby Wagner anymore. You're going with a very young offensive line. Look, I have said, and I will reiterate on this program again, that this Seahawks team has a bright future going forward, that they have very good foundational pieces with what they were able to do in this draft with Abraham Lucas, Charles Cross, Boye Mafe, Coby Bryant, Tariq Woolen, yada, yada, yada. Sure, those are good foundational pieces for Seattle, what they can build for years to come. But right now, it's not their time. This is not their time to be a contender. They're not even close to what that Russell Wilson Super Bowl team was. So they'll be good in the future, but now is not their time. It's not their moment right now. Now your turn. Predict the Seahawks record this season. You heard me tell it here on Seahawks Today a few days ago. I have the Seahawks as about a 6-win team. What say you? Predict the Seahawks record in the comments section and let me know. Aura says, how would you measure this team's success with all of the young players? Hashtag Seahawks. How would you measure this team's success? I would say, for me, what I would measure the team's success is you can't look at wins and losses, right? And I know that is something where somebody is going to say, okay, Tyler, what do you mean? Everything we measure by wins and losses. With this young talent, with the young guys you have, what you hope for this group is that they get better week after week, that you see substantial growth. That's how you measure the success of these young players. Are they playing to their potential? Are they getting better? Are they improving? If they are doing that, then that's success. That's how you measure success with this young group. Not everything's about wins and losses. Those days will come. I'm sure they will with this young group. But for now, it's about getting better each and every week and playing to your potential. You do those things, that's successful. Stick writes, hashtag Seahawks, besides quarterback, what position do the Seahawks need to improve next offseason? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be real with you, folks. Cody Barton, he ain't that guy. What's the TikTok? You're not that guy, pal. Cody Barton's not that guy. And he was so bad in the preseason. Jordan Brooks is phenomenal. There's a reason why he's going to be leading the defense. But next year, you got to replace Cody Barton. You got to get him a running partner for Jordan Brooks as an inside linebacker. Cody Barton is not good enough. He's got a chance to prove otherwise, but I don't think he's that guy. Matthew writes, hashtag Seahawks, do you think Kenneth Walker III needs his reps, or should Seattle keep Penny as running back number one? Has been absolute garbage until the end of last season. Penny was the most explosive running back in the NFL at the end of last year. It was. And Kenneth Walker into the fold, and we mentioned with DJ Dallas, Travis Homer, you have a really good core. I'm not concerned with who RB1 is or RB2 or any of that stuff. What I'm concerned about is getting these guys all on the field and rotating the backs, running it by committee, keeping things fresh. It doesn't matter who starts. As long as they're both getting playing time and they're both productive, then it's fine for me. I mean, to me, then it doesn't matter who starts. You're okay either way. Augusta writes, what scenario would it have to take for the Seahawks to make the playoffs? Let's see. What scenario would it take? A lot of teams would have to deal with some injuries. There'd have to be some quarterbacks that go down. Geno Smith would have to play out of his mind and not make mistakes and win some football games. Not only just manage games, but be the reason that they win games. For me, that's what I'd have to look at with Geno Smith. And the offensive line would have to really emerge and come along throughout the process as well. Those are the things just that come to mind immediately. And even when it comes to the secondary, they'd have to grow up pretty fast. I don't think the Seahawks can make the playoffs. What about you, though? Will Seattle make the playoffs? Let's get loud in that comment section. Type HY for hell yes. Type HN for hell no if the Seahawks will make the playoffs in 2022. Couple more for you. Tipper wants to know, how many more years will Carroll be the Seahawks head coach? I could see this very well being Pete Carroll's last year. It would not shock me at all. And one thing I talked about on our show earlier this week of Pete Carroll saying that the Seahawks are going to win 10 games this year, if that expectation was my concern with Pete Carroll, as good as he's been, and he is a Hall of Fame coach, he will be that guy. He is that guy when it comes to the Hall of Fame, but I'm afraid that the game has passed him by. We've seen him not adapt to the way the NFL is going offensively. I mean, what's the saying? Adapt or die. And in Pete Carroll's case, I'm worried that he's getting behind offensively. That even when they bring in a new quarterback, when they find their franchise guy, that they're still not going to want to throw the football as much as you need to in today's NFL. So I think the years are numbered for Pete Carroll. I would be shocked if he's there for 3 more years. I would lean towards between that 1 to 3 range for Pete Carroll. But thanks for the question there. As always, you can interact with me on Twitter and Instagram at Tyler Jones Live. You can find me there. Also on Facebook as well, facebook.com/Tyler Jones Live. You can find me there. And I will see you right back here next time here on Seahawks Today. Have a great day. All right, moving on now. Got one more segment to get to in just one moment. But before we do, I will bring back in Jeremy Chuggs, and let's get real with you guys. Who was your celebrity crush growing up? Mine, Jeremy, was none other than Selena Gomez. I loved Wizards of Waverly Place. Had a big crush on Selena Gomez. I know I'm showing my age here. She's still beautiful, by the way. I think she's single, too. Sup, Selena.
Sup, Selena.
So, Selena, if you want to call me, she might even still live in Texas, where I'm at. I mean, by all means, drop me a line anytime. So that's my answer, Selena Gomez. How about you, Jeremy?
So I have 2. Selena Gomez was definitely a crush of mine. Another
Good
one.
Good choice. Good taste.
Miley Cyrus circa Hannah Montana days.
Before she went crazy.
Yeah. Before Wrecking Ball and everything like that. But more than that, the first girl that really caught my eye and I was like, I want to marry this girl, Megan Fox. Whenever I saw that first Transformers movie, I was like, yes. Yes.
Megan Fox, good choice.
Dude, Megan Fox was just like,
she was a fox.
If you were in middle school and you didn't think Megan Fox was just a total like fox, like dude.
That's a great choice. Megan Fox now with Machine Gun Kelly. Let's see. The comments section.
Tyler's crush is Barbara Walters.
Barbara Wawa?
Oh,
no thanks.
Rush, I 100% agree. I used to watch the Power Rangers movie.
The Pink Power Ranger?
The Pink Power Ranger. Her name was Kimberly. She was bad. She was
a
bad.
baddie?
Yes.
Okay. I see Halle Berry, Emma Watson.
Angelina Jolie. Jolene.
I don't need a celebrity crush because mine is way cuter. That's a good answer.
Hey, you must be watching this with your significant other, Ray.
Matthew
Big
says,
ups.
ha, ha, ha. Well, that's not a name. Another one for me, okay, a little bit younger in time, was Carrie Underwood. And growing up in Oklahoma, watching American Idol, I loved Carrie. She was from Chakotah, Oklahoma, which wasn't too far from where I grew up. And I remember, Jeremy, in the 5th grade when Carrie Underwood got married, and I saw it on a tabloid magazine, and I was pretty upset. And I told my mom, like, wow, Carrie Underwood got married. I'm crushed. And she said to me, why? Were you going to marry Carrie Underwood? And I said, I don't know, maybe. But she's now happily married with kids, and Carrie Underwood looking forward to Sunday night. We're waiting all day for Sunday
night.
Let's see. Jeffrey says Pam Anderson.
Lamau with the Hannah Montana. Yes.
Carmen Electra getting in the chat. Ray says his is Jeremy Chuggs. Okay.
Hit me up. Beyonce. Yes, Beyonce's bad.
All the sexy ladies.
All the single ladies.
Single ladies, yes.
I mean, if you don't have hope as a guy, just know that Jay-Z got with Beyonce, and she's way out of his league.
Right?
So you have a chance. You have a chance with that girl. That girl that you don't think you have a chance with, you 100% have a chance.
Let's see. Everyone's agreeing with you about Hannah Montana.
She was bad.
Jeffrey reminds us Seahawks have no Sunday night football games this year. Yeah, that's sad. They could get flexed in later in the year. Never know.
Maybe. Selena Gomez, Miley Cyrus, 100%. Jennifer Lawrence after the first Hunger Games. Yeah, I could see that. Joe Mama.
Britney Spears. Britney back in the day, like early 2000s.
Yeah.
Hook says Tyler Jones. Okay. Got Lindsay Lohan in the chat. What was the twin movie she did? Freaky Friday.
Oh, no. Parent Trap.
Parent Trap, yes.
Oh, who's that girl that you were telling me about earlier, your celebrity crush? What is Lisa?
That's my mother's name.
No, Lisa Ann?
Oh, hey now.
What?
Whoa.
You were saying that was your celebrity crush, right?
She's a big fantasy football fan.
Oh, yeah?
I've seen, her fantasy football takes. Don't know anything else about her.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Who's that? James Bond's lover from Skyfall, Nana Visitor. Let's see.
Oh, Brooklyn Decker.
Brooklyn Decker, yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're off the rails right now. We're totally off the rails.
We are. All right. We got one more segment coming up here.
Tyler's got to calm down. He's thinking of Lisa Ann.
I think you brought her up. She was on your mind. You were thinking of Lisa Ann. All right. Coming up, let's also, I see Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That was an old show on the WB, I believe. We are 14 likes away from 100. Let's get to 100, and we will give you our final segment. We will preview the Seahawks and Broncos game coming up on Monday Night Football. Let's get those likes up, and then we'll begin our final segment of Seahawks Today Live, previewing the Seahawks matchup with the Denver Broncos coming up on Monday night. Also, you can let us know who your celebrity crush was as well. We are just about ready to go. Our final segment here on Seahawks Today Live. Welcome in to Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us. On today's show, we will preview the Seahawks matchup with the Denver Broncos on Monday Night Football to begin the 2022 NFL season. It is going to be a dandy, folks. An emotional night ahead as Russell Wilson makes his return to Seattle after the offseason trade that sent him to the Denver Broncos. And we have seen over the last few months, there have been a lot of memories shared and some hurt feelings. Now, time to settle things on the football field between these two teams. The Seahawks in the midst of a rebuild. Denver, for the last few years, has been rebuilding, and now they found their quarterback. Two teams potentially going in opposite directions off of 7-10 seasons last year. Odds for this game, the Broncos are favored at 6.5, and the over-under is 44.5 for this matchup there. So I would imagine that a lot of you Seahawk fans will be wanting to put some money down on the Seahawks to get away with this cover here, to pull off not only the win outright, but to get the cover here, a chance to make money, and also bet that over, because life's too short to bet the under here. It's going to be, I think, a very entertaining game. I have the Broncos winning. I know. I think I have the Broncos getting it done, 27-24. Don't kill me for that, but that's my pick. But you can get your picks in now with BetUS at chatsports.com/bet. Use the promo code Seahawks125 for a 125% deposit bonus. You may be wondering, what does that mean, Tyler? What's a 125% deposit bonus? Well, if you put $100 down, they're going to give you $125 to spend for free. You can do it at one place, chatsports.com/bet, promo code Seahawks125 at checkout. And so, while you're placing your bets, might as well get loud in the comments section. Predict the score for this matchup. You heard my pick just a moment ago. I have Denver winning 27-24. Of course, we're pulling for a Seahawks win around here, though. That's what we'd like to see. What say you? Let us know in the comments section. Predict the score for the Seattle-Denver game on Monday night. The injury front for the Seahawks, of the active 53-man roster, Kenneth Walker III dealing with a hernia injury, likely not going to play on Monday. Sidney Jones with a concussion, Boye Mafe with a shoulder injury, Alton Robinson with a knee injury, Damien Lewis with an ankle injury. All of their statuses are yet to be determined. And also of note, cornerback Trey Brown and John Radigan, they're on the PUP list. Those guys will not be available for at least the first 4 weeks. And then cornerback John Reed, wide receiver Cody Thompson, and edge rusher Tariq Smith are on IR, so we won't see them. So that's where the Seahawks stand with injuries. Denver, they're in much better shape when it comes to the injury front than what Seattle is right now. Billy Turner, Jonas Griffith, Randy Gregory, and Tyree Cleveland dealing with various injuries. They all practiced this week and are all expected to play on Monday. So on Denver's side of things, they're going to have everybody. All of their active 53-man roster are going to be healthy and ready to go if all things go according to plan throughout practices and walkthroughs this week. We'll see the Broncos at full strength. So let's go ahead and get to my keys to victory for the Seattle Seahawks. For me, it starts with a quick passing game for Seattle. I want to see Geno Smith get that ball off very fast because the Broncos have a good pass rush. When you look at Randy Gregory and Bradley Chubb, those guys can get to the quarterback. And Geno Smith, if he can get that ball off faster, then that means that it's less likely for mistakes as well. And we've talked a lot on this program about DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, but Noah Fant, he's got a lot to play for too here, right? Playing against his former team. To me, that's a good option for the quick passing game to get some yardage immediately. To substitute the run game for the pass game is use your tight ends. Use that quick passing game. Number 2, got to get pressure on Russell Wilson. Contain him in the pocket. Look, Seahawk fans, you all know as well as anybody out there that Russell Wilson is at his best when he is able to get out of the pocket and throw on the run and get the ball downfield. And for years, this Seahawks team has been facing Russell Wilson in practice, and they have not had the opportunity to hit Russell Wilson. And now, Brooks, Barton, all these guys will have a chance to finally get contact on Russell Wilson. Got to get pressure on him. Got to get hits on the quarterback. Rattle him up a bit. And to me, you do those things, you could be in good shape. Next up, win the turnover battle. Obviously, this is twofold. Geno Smith has to take care of the football. And to his credit, Geno Smith, for whatever you make of Geno Smith, the thing that he's improved on a lot, comparably speaking to his time when he was a starter with the New York Jets, is he takes care of the football a lot more than he did before. He's still a game manager. He is not going to be somebody that throws for 400 yards a game. But he limits his mistakes a lot better than Drew Lock does. Have to limit those mistakes and also force some turnovers as well. I'm looking to the secondary. You see this group with Mike Jackson, Tariq Woolen, some unproven guys in that secondary. They're going to have to step up and, cause some issues. Whether it's playing zone or man, whatever they do defensively, mixing it up, those guys, I think, whether it's even Diggs or Adams, somebody is going to have to pick off Russell Wilson and win that turnover battle, and that's that front. Last thing for keys to the game, got to set the emotions aside. And here's what I mean by this. This is going to be a night that we're going to remember for the rest of our lives when Russell Wilson returned to Seattle. It is going to be emotional. But once that ball kicks off, you got to put that away. You can't be worrying about John Russell Wilson trying to, get in his face or, do things like that. You have to put that aside because you don't want to get called for any penalties. You don't want any personal fouls or anything like that. You got to put that aside. Save that for the beginning of the game and the end of the game. But when the game's going on, set those emotions aside and focus on the matter at hand of winning the football game and playing a clean football game. Set those emotions aside, and you'll be in good shape. My X factors to the Seahawks, 3 names in particular. Noah Fant at the tight end spot, playing against the team that he started for, and they traded him away. He wasn't good enough for the Denver Broncos. And he, for me, is that number 3 option. Everyone's focusing in on how the Seahawks have a big drop-off when you move on from DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. And while that's true, Noah Fant can fill that void as your de facto number 3 tight end. He's got something to prove. Coby Bryant, as much talk as we've made about Tariq Woolen, here's Coby Bryant, who was right there with Tariq Woolen, and it looks like Woolen's going to start. Coby Bryant is a guy that could be a factor, that could make some noise as a backup outside corner or playing nickel, wherever he may be. I expect him to make plays. And then there's DJ Dallas, who this preseason just came out of nowhere, right? We have never seen DJ Dallas show much until this preseason, when he showed that he can not only be a good runner, but a good receiver as well out of the backfield, that he can be a really good third down back. I'm watching out for DJ Dallas. With Kenneth Walker III likely not able to go on Monday night, the Seahawks will need a lot from DJ Dallas as potentially the number 2 running back for the Seahawks. Now your turn. Name an X factor for the Seahawks against the Broncos. You tell me in the comment section. Give me one name to watch. Maybe it was somebody we mentioned. Maybe it was somebody we did not mention. Who is the guy that is off the radar for your Seattle Seahawks that will be an X factor on Monday night? Let me know in the comment section below one name that will be an X factor. We're going to be all over this Seahawks and Broncos game on Monday night with a live watch party here on the channel. We'll get things started about 15 minutes before kickoff, reacting to the game in real time. We'll do a live post-game show as well. Subscribe now so you'll be the first to know, so you can be here right when we get started for our watch party. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. I'll be here, and I can guarantee you it will be a great time. You will not want to miss out on this. And you may be watching the game. You may be at the game. Whatever it may be, just get out your phone or put us on your TV and enjoy what we have to offer you as we'll react to this game in real time and have a lot of fun, have a few cold ones while doing it too, some nice beverages in hand. You will not want to miss out on it. Seahawks Broncos live watch party here on Seahawks Today. Subscribe now, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. A few X factors for the Broncos to watch for. Jerry Jeudy, he was picked in the first round just a couple of years ago out of Alabama. Terrific college player, but he hasn't played to his potential yet. Jeudy has not had a 1,000-yard season receiving to this point. And part of the idea of bringing in Russell Wilson was to get more out of Jerry Jeudy. He's going to be a guy that needs to step up for them and would like to see an instant impact. I'm probably going to butcher his name, but we'll give it our best shot. Albert Okwuegbunam. I probably missed it. Anyways, the starting tight end for the Denver Broncos. He is replacing Noah Fant, and the Broncos have liked what they've seen from Albert. I'm just going to call him Albert. He could be a matchup problem. He has been somebody that's impressed so far throughout the preseason, throughout camp. And then there's Draymond Jones at the defensive end spot. Jones started 7 games for Denver last year, had 5.5 sacks. He's going to be somebody that Denver expects to step up and could be a problem for the Seahawks offensive line to deal with. So, looking forward to it. Going to be a lot of fun between now and then. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Tyler Jones Live. That's the easiest way to find me as I'm talking about your favorite team each and every day on those platforms. Follow me there. And the first 10 people to follow me on any of those platforms, I'm going to follow you back. So do that now. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Tyler Jones Live. And before we go, who will be the Seahawks team MVP this season? Let me know in the comments section who that will be for the Seahawks in 2022. Let me know in the comments section below as we near the start of kickoff here on Seahawks Today. We'll see you next time. All right, now your chance to weigh in. By the way, we are 8 likes away from 100. Let's go ahead and get there before we wrap up today. Micro Mike checking in. Tyler's voice better than Morgan Freeman. Thank you for that, Micro Mike. You're a real one. Who will be the Seahawks team MVP this season? For me, it's going to be DK Metcalf. He's the guy getting paid the most money. He's, I think, the most talented.
My guy, Micro Mike.
With Geno Smith at quarterback, or whether we see Drew Lock like we talked about earlier, those guys, you know who they're going to get the football to? DK Metcalf. Even if they struggle, you know who they're going to get the football to? DK Metcalf. The 6'4", 230-pound receiver is going to get the football a lot this year. Even if there's a drop-off in quarterback play, DK Metcalf will make this offense look a lot better than what it could be. So that's my answer. What's yours, Chugs?
I'm going to go this is a hard one. I'm gonna go Rashad Penny.
Okay.
I think I saw Poop Dog say it in the comments, and I think he's right. The key
Poop Dog?
Poop Dog.
Okay. Shout out Poop Dog.
I think that the key to the Seahawks winning this year is controlling the time of possession. And the way you do that is running the football. If Rashad Penny can kind of catch that same fire he did at the end of last season, I think that'll be a great thing. Lions talk with Micro Mike. My guy, Micro Mike. Jeremy Chugs is a great name.
It is a great name.
Micro Mike, Jeremy Chugs, just two legends of chat sports just chopping it up. Micro, I need to know, what is your confidence level in the Lions 1 to 100 at the start of the season? Where are you at? I know you were.
I'm looking forward to when the Seahawks play the Lions because I'm sure that I'm going to be hearing it from Micro Mike in a good way. Though.
Oh, I mean, we gotta get a battle going.
Oh, it'll be fun. Dr. Chicken also says Jeremy.
I have a feeling Micro Mike after Hard Knocks is really high on the Lions this year.
Let's see. Buffy the Vampire is MVP for Tyler. I've never seen Buffy the Vampire.
Also, Micro, who's your celebrity crush growing up? Let us know, Micro.
We had some good answers earlier.
Yeah. Tyler said this girl named Lisa Ann.
I did not.
I've never heard of her, but
I've never heard of her either. I've
49
seen like some
and 5
fantasy
shots
footballs.
of vodka. I love it, Micro Mike.
Let's see. Who else? We got some. Who will be the Seahawks MVP this year? I'm seeing Jordan Brooks from Allen. Matthew says Boye Mafe, Travis Homer, also Tariq Woolen. That would be interesting if Tariq Woolen as a rookie is the team MVP. Alton Robinson also getting some votes in. A lot of different answers so far we've seen.
Oh, we already have a question from Emmett Gaming 21. I'll pull it up for you, Tyler.
Okay.
Before we leave, Christina Aguilera. Nice. Nice.
Christina Aguilera.
Love it.
That's a good answer, Micro Mike.
'Cause I'm just a
teenager back, baby.
All right. We already have the questions rolling in. It's not even the start of the year yet.
Do you think we can get Lamar Jackson? He did say the Ravens have till Friday to extend him, and I feel like he's out of Baltimore, then we should go get him. I think that the asking price would be ridiculously high.
Yeah.
Maybe even more than what the Broncos gave up for Russ.
But you do have multiple first-round picks.
You have multiple, but you got those because you got rid of Russell Wilson. So I don't think that's the direction the Seahawks are going to go. I think that they're ultimately going to draft a quarterback. But I also think, too, and Jeremy and I, we see what the Ravens do real close. We follow them here at Chat Sports. And, even if they don't get a deal done for Lamar now, I would expect they'll get something done in the offseason.
Would you do 3 firsts and 2 seconds for Lamar Jackson? Your 2 firsts this next year and your first next year?
I would do that, yeah. I would. I don't think that John Schneider and Pete Carroll would.
3 firsts and 2 second-round picks for Lamar Jackson.
I would. He's a former MVP.
Maybe
still in his prime.
Maybe sweeten the pot with, I don't know, one of your young up-and-coming players. I mean, I don't want to say Noah Fant, but
yeah, I would make the trade, but I don't see management making that trade. Let's see. More questions coming in. Poop Dog, still funny, says $260 million for Lamar. No way.
He's worth it. He's worth it. And if you don't think so, I want whatever you're smoking because he is 100%.
Alan says Lamar has too many miles on him. He's on the final year of his rookie deal. What miles are you talking about?
Micro Mike says, how many victories will the Seahawks have this season? Tyler said, what did you say, 6?
I said 6-11.
6-11.
What'd you say, Jeremy?
I think I went right below you. I think I went 5-12.
5-12. Okay. So there you have it. We are just about to go. If you're not already, subscribe to the channel. And if you missed any of today's show, it's available on the channel. We're talking about your Seattle Seahawks every day here on Seahawks Today. And we got a live watch party. Monday night, we'll be here 15 minutes before kickoff, reacting to the game in real time. We'll have our live post-game show. We'll have a few cold ones as well. It's going to be a good time. Monday night, be here for our Seahawks-Broncos watch party.
Micro Mike asking if we would want to trade for Goff. We respectively decline.
I declined before you even asked me what you were offering.
Respectfully. Decline.
On that note, we will go. See you all later in the week. Be here for the watch party on a Monday night. For Jeremy Chung.